Hello, I'm Steve. I'm a Christian counselor, life coach, public speaker, and soon to be author. I want to welcome you to the Grace Awakening Network, or GAN, and I just want to say I'm so honored to be a part of the networking program here. My program, Walk Right, A Path to Healing, is a weekly program that is dedicated to my and your healing process. I hope you find this program to be a healthy space for that healing, and I don't even know what step you're on. I don't know if you've just started. I don't know if you haven't started yet. I don't know if you're 5, 6, 7 years into it. This program is for everybody. A lot of what I talk about comes from my own personal experience. I was abandoned as a young child by my mother. My father was an alcoholic most of my teenage years. I was sexually abused as a young child, and I was married to an addict for over 13 years. So I have a little bit of experience of pain, a little bit of experience of trauma, and a lot of experience on healing. What's great is the love of Jesus Christ does not confine to any one of those categories or boxes, and he can heal and help you get over this trauma. We'll be discussing a lot about codependency, addiction, abuse, and things that trigger your trauma and things that trigger your pain. More importantly, we will be discussing your identity in Jesus Christ, how we find that, what it looks like, and how we move past our pain with it. I pray that this weekly program will help you on your journey to healing and, more importantly, finding your way to your identity in Jesus Christ. Hello and welcome to this week's program of Walk Right, A Path to Healing. I'm Steve. I'll be your host today. And today we're going to be talking about the Ferris wheel. Yep, I've got weird names. I know, weird titles. But anyway, today's the Ferris wheel. Everybody knows what the Ferris wheel is, right? The big ride at the carnival or the amusement park that you get on, and it goes up real high and it just keeps going around. And it's a fun ride and you get to see a bunch of stuff. But today we're going to be looking at the getting off part. Man, Christmas is right around the corner, so Merry Christmas to you. I know that it's Wednesday, so I hope everybody's ready. And I know that there are a lot of people hurting right now going into this season. The joy's kind of robbed from you, I get it. And, an addict, an abuser, codependency, or a codependent is in control again this Christmas. And you're gonna put on that fake smile and try to get through the season. And I know firsthand how that feels. You're fake on the outside for the family. You're hurting tremendously on the inside. It's like you're screaming into a pillow deep, dark down in your gut. The pain's all too real. Anxiety's at an all-time high. The fear and anger, they're about to boil over. I've had so many Christmases that were like that, and so many that were fake. I had to keep it together for my family, especially my kids. I had to keep it together for my kids so everybody could enjoy the season. Yay. And, in the back of my mind, I wanted to jump from the tallest building. So I have empathy for you. I know that pain. I know how that feels. So I hope that, I hope you can find peace. And I hope these videos can help somebody to maybe this is the season that you break that cycle. Because it was 11 years ago, right around this time, right before Christmas, that I finally stood up for myself. I said I wanted off the ride. I'll never forget that moment. Was it sad? Yes, of course. Liberating? Definitely liberating. Scary? Yes. But I took a stand and I stuck to it. And I got off the Ferris wheel. You see, your relationship to an abuser, an addict, or a codependent is like this giant Ferris wheel that I'm talking about today. You get on the ride, it's fun, a lot of fun. You go up, you go down, there's music, you see beautiful sights, and, it's a little excitement. You're having a good time. But now picture it never stopping. It just keeps going round and round, up and down, round and round, up and down. The only time it stops at certain points, but never really where you can get off. And it's kind of crazy that you would think that this thing's going to land right where I want to get off, but it just doesn't seem to ever do that, right? So anyway, you're on this ride, you're going around, and say it stops close to the top or at the top. And why are people afraid to get off the ride at that point? Why do people try not to get themselves into the position in the high point of the relationship to get off? So this is when they feel some kind of love. They feel belonging. This is where the emotional euphoria comes in from that codependent world. You're on your high. You're at the high. The relationship's good at this point. You're relying on somebody else for your emotional well-being, your approval, your self-worth. And right now it's going pretty good at this high point of the Ferris wheel. And this is what codependents live for. This is their addiction. Love addicts are the same way. And they're not sex addicts, they're love addicts. They chase this feeling as a junkie chases his next high. You're willing to go through all these low points just to get to that high point. But that's why people don't get off the ride at the high point when they're thinking clearly. Because they're not. They're basing themselves and their identity off that feeling or that somebody or that point in the relationship. And then of course the ride continues round and round again. And you're willing to go through those conditions, and you're willing to go through that bad point again, try to get back to that high point, to get that high. This could be a few days, this could be a month, this could be, a few months, but you're always chasing that high or that feeling. So let's say the Ferris wheel stops at the bottom, not quite at the bottom where you get off, but you lost sight of those beautiful views. You can't really see that far out. Things are blocking your view. There's more noise because you're closer to the ground. There's people all around. It's not too fun at that point. But why can't you get off the ride? Why can't you get off at that point? Well, number one, it's awareness. Like me, they just maybe don't know what was taking place in their life. I didn't know I was codependent all those years. I didn't know that was going on. They just think the ups and downs are normal. I just thought it was normal. We fight, things get better, we fight, things get better, we fight. That was just normal. That's the round and round of your life. That's the round and round of the way things are going. And you don't have a clue. And there are options to get off, but you're just not aware. The second thing is fear. It's because you live in fear. They're afraid what will happen to the children if you split up, or not knowing if you're going to, that you're really causing more damage by staying in this just tornado of a mess. You fear that maybe the person might hurt you if you stand up for yourself. There's a fear of being alone. There's a fear of not knowing what's down the road. There's so much fear that goes with that. And I'm here to tell you, love and fear do not mix. They don't mix at all. In fact, they're opposites. There's no kind of form of fear in any of the nature of love. None. In John 1:4-18, it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love." So there is no fear in love. And that's the important thing to take away from that verse. There's no fear in love. Now, people say, well, I love this person. I get it. I understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also fear this person. Okay, I understand that too. And immediately that tells us that that's not a relationship that God has designed. That's not a relationship that He is wanting you to have. Okay? A relationship should be love, not fear. There should be no fear. There should be respect for your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your other party, but there's no fear in love. They don't mix. They don't go together. So in a relationship, that doesn't work. But I understand that people are fearful in the relationships when they are addicted to that love in that relationship. So they think it's normal in the cycle. But when they're down close enough to get off, they just don't because of that fear. They just don't do it. So how do we stop this? How do we stop? How do we get off the ride? You have to recognize where you are right now in your relationship with that person. Like I said, it's awareness. It's awareness. And I'll say it again, it's awareness. If you could connect to any of what I've talked about today, if you could connect to anything I related to just in the first, 10 minutes or so, if you can relate to any of that, you're on the Ferris wheel. You're on that wheel, okay? And do you remember the first episode? Did you get a chance to see it? If you haven't watched it, please do so. If you already found your monkey in the cabinet, okay, and recognize that now you see that you continue to go round and round on this Ferris wheel after identifying that, you are now aware. You are aware something's going on and it's not right. God's speaking to you, the Spirit speaking to you, saying, hey, man, I can relate to this, and this is weird. This is exactly what's going on in my relationship right now. So recognize that this is the moment. You're aware now. And if not, I pray that you continue to rewatch and maybe just start thinking about what's going on, or maybe you're coming into this kind of Ferris wheel relationship. I don't know, but your awareness can be the first step towards healing. Okay? Whether your physical, emotional, spiritual awareness, any of them, it leads to having to seek the divine assistance, Jesus, and the change needed to start that healing process. So you're aware, okay? And you understand now that you can't do this alone, maybe. And this is where you start seeking counseling or a therapist, of course, Jesus. But this is the point where you're aware you're going to do something about it. Like I said at the beginning, this is where I was like, you know what? I'm done. I want off. I want to get off the ride. Stop the ride. I need to get off. And that was the start. Now, did I skip all the way down the road after that? Of course not. There was many nights of crying because I was afraid what I did to my kids, and I was alone, and I was married for so long, and moving out and doing all this stuff. It was just, what am I going to do next? But I slowly started to heal, and I slowly started to let God work in me. And I slowly started to realize who my identity was in Jesus Christ. I'll say that every episode, it's so important. Once we find out our true identity in Jesus Christ, a lot of things can change. A lot of things can change. So, let's say you finally say, hey, I'm going to get off this ride. You get off the ride, and you've got some people that are there to help you. And they're maybe churchy people or Christians, people that kind of there to support you. Maybe don't understand everything that's going on, but they're there to support you. And I'm not saying they're the bad, but but maybe they just don't know the next step either. And here's what they do. While they're loving and caring, mind you, I'm not putting them down. They're loving and caring, but they don't really know the emotional complex that you're dealing with. Your emotions are just a mess right now. And what they like to do is like throw you 10 Bible verses and tell you Jesus can help you. Great. Wow, really? Okay. I might be getting a divorce. I might be moving out. I might be separated from my kids. Yes, Jesus is going to help. Great. And I say that only because people, and I was churchy. I grew up, I was in ministry. I know all this, and people would just kind of throw this stuff just because They're trying to help, and I'm not mocking it, and I'm not putting it down by any means, so please don't think that. Bible verses are a great thing. They plant seeds, they grow, and they do good in your life. Okay? That is 100% truth. So I'm not mocking that. And Jesus, I love Jesus. Jesus is amazing. I will say that time and time again, every single day. Jesus is amazing. And I'm not putting that down either when they say Jesus can help, because he can. He really can. But throwing some Bible verses and telling people that Jesus is going to help them through the situation when they're lost, I mean completely lost. They've run this whole life of up and down on this Ferris wheel and this codependency and this working with an addict or living with an addict and being tangled in this mess for years sometimes. Throwing some Bible verses and Jesus at them is not going to help them. It really isn't. And the only reason I say that is because your heart's just not ready. Your heart is not ready. It's not ready for a slew of Bible verses as much as Jesus is inside you already and just waiting with open arms to just hug you and take care of you and help you. Your heart's not ready. You need to be first aware of what's going on. Okay? To start to heal and then start to figure out your identity. But you finally have to get to that point and stand up on the ride and yell, I want off. Stop the ride. Stop the ride. I want off. I have to get off. And it's at this point, I believe, your heart makes a change and actually starts to prepare you for the love of Christ and healing. Now, you can start glancing over a bunch of, 20 Bible verses that a bunch of people have thrown at you, and you can just, it's crazy. Okay, again, your heart's just not ready. But when you are aware and you do say you want to get off and you make that move to get off, I'm going to give you one Bible verse that will change your whole perspective, your whole life, and your relationship. Okay, I promise you this. It's not going to come in 1 hour, or it could. I mean, Jesus is great, and he can help you more than me, but it took me some time. It took me some time to go through this. But everybody's different. But I'm going to give you one verse that will help you. And it's 1 Peter 5:7. And it says, pour out all your worries and stress upon him and leave them there, for he always tenderly cares for you. Okay? This verse will mean a lot once you start to understand it. And this verse will really start to manifest in your life and really start your healing process, what I believe, with Jesus. And it really will start you on a great path of finding love and who you are and loving yourself. I coined the phrase confidence and peace. That's what I strive for, is confidence and peace. But this verse, pour out all your worries and stress upon him and leave them there, for he always tenderly cares for you. Okay? It says pour, but it really means cast out. Translated, it's cast out. And I'm not talking, you have a little fishing pole and you kind of cast out. That's not what it means. Back in those days and those meanings, they were fishermen, okay? And they had those nets. And they grabbed those nets with both hands and they yanked at them and they threw them out to the sea. And they had to throw them way out to get past the boat. And they knew where the fish were. And they just yanked those things out, if you could picture that. With all their might, they cast out those nets. It's not a simple, just pour some of that, worries into a cup for me. That's not it. It says cast out. Both hands, cast out, throw it out. Take that crap and throw it onto God. Just take it and throw it. Okay? That's what that means. And the next part is completely amazing. And I read over this for, 20, 30, 40 times. And it just didn't hit me until I was ready for it. And leave them there. So you pour out all your worries and stress upon him and you leave them there. Leave them there. He says, leave them there. Don't pick them up. Don't touch them. Don't go back to them. Leave them there. And what's great about this is he's not there going, oh, look what Steve threw at me. Oh, tis, tis, tis. I don't like that one. Oh, look at it. Oh, you did that? You're worried about that? Oh, no. He's not like that. He's not like that at all. He's like, I can take all you can throw on me without any kind of judgment. Throw it on me. Throw it on me. I want you to throw it on me. Cast it on me. I'm strong enough. You're not, but I'm going to make you strong enough. Why? Because he tenderly cares for you. For you, yes, you. He tenderly cares for you. So you say that verse in the morning, and maybe again a little bit later, and then maybe at night. Nothing happens. Cast all your things away to God, and he's always there, and that's what's going to happen. And then the next day, cast all your fear, let's do this, and let's leave my stress there. Okay, great. But you're going to keep doing that. And it came to a point in my life, I came here and I was like, God, I'm going to pour out all my worries and stress upon you again. And I'm going to leave them there. And then it turns into almost a conversation. And it turns into this relationship. Before long, you're not just saying the verse, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to cast out worrying about my kids because I know you're going to continue our relationship in love. And I'm going to cast out the stress of what I'm going to do financially because I relied on this person for financial security. And now I'm stepping away to heal myself, and I'm so worried about that. But I'm going to throw it on you, God. And you start talking about these individual worries, and you start talking about these individual stresses, and you start to get into this relationship with talking to Jesus. And that's what we're looking for. And you start talking to Jesus, and you start talking about these things, and you start understanding this verse, and you start letting go a little bit, and you start to relieve some of the pressure on you. It's amazing at what this verse can do for you. And then maybe you find another verse and you start doing the same thing with that verse. Or maybe you got another verse that stands out to you particular and you start doing that verse. And then you start understanding how caring he is, and you start understanding how you're not been held under a vindication of, all the wrongdoings that you did in a relationship, and you're starting to be a little more free. Are all your problems going to go away? No. Are things going to still hurt? Yes. But healing, I'm years into this, and I still have hurts, and I still have hang-ups from it. But what's great about working with Jesus and starting to trust him is you start to control some of these triggers, and you start to control some of this stuff that starts to bubble up. And I can feel it coming, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to set that down. I'm not going to touch it. I know what's going on. So I tell you today, make today today. Make today today. Make today the day that is today, that you stand up on the ride, that you said, I don't want this anymore. Stop the ride. I want to get off. Yell it at the top of your lungs so that all of heaven can hear, so that the strongholds that are holding you down start to tremble in fear because they know all the angels in all of heaven heard it. They know that the angels are coming. They know that there's just going to be this battle and your strongholds are going to lose. It's at this point, when you do that and you decide to get off this Ferris wheel, it's at this point that your heart's going to change. You could start this healing process and you rekindle your love and relationship with Jesus. Or maybe you are even going to become awakened to the fact that Jesus is real and he's there and he's living inside you, if you've never experienced him. You have to get off the ride today. But you can't heal unless you're aware. You can't stop unless you're aware. So I asked, stop, get off the ride. I hope this helps somebody today. Maybe you can share it with somebody. Merry Christmas to you. Never forget that you are loved. And never forget this, you are holy. God bless you. I love you. I'll see you soon. Hey, Steve here again. I hope you enjoyed today's program, and I hope that you will maybe continue to come back and maybe tell some other people that might be going through some hurts, and you might know somebody that's going through the same situation I was, something totally different, but anybody that needs to find their identity in Jesus Christ and needs to heal. But thank you so much. You could follow me at Walk Right Coaching on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, Steve Roderman. You could follow me at walkrightcoaching.com. That would be wonderful. If you want to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your thoughts. I'd love to, if you have a question, I'd love to converse with you. You could reach me at walkrightcoaching@gmail.com. Just feel free to shoot me an email, and I would love to correspond with you. Also, this is a program on GAN, but you can also follow me on Walk Right Coaching on YouTube. While GAN has this all on demand, maybe YouTube might be easier for you, but the programs will be on after they air on GAN. And I also have some little shorts over there and some healing tips and whatnot. So if you would follow me over at Walk Right Coaching, I just got the site up, that would be great. And this is a self-funded ministry. If it's on your heart at some point, maybe to help me with the program, that'd be great. I am on Cash App at $ Walk Right Coaching. Simple. Again, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. I love you. God bless.